that's something I really tried to work on. I remember my first long course world championships 2017. I was in the 4x2 relay and we were like really underdogs and we won a bronze medal. And I remember like I was a 16-year-old girl. I was so excited to get on the podium, and I was just so G'd up. The next morning I had the 800 heat and I completely bombed out because I'd wasted all my energy the night before. And I kind of really learned from that. Like watching the final of the 800 in the stands made me really angry. And I definitely like think back to that moment and never want to experience that again. So in 2019 in Gwangju, it was the same program and we obviously won gold and broke the world record. And I had the 800 the next morning, and I like learnt from the 2 years prior and like went out there and did like my best 800 heat swim ever. So that's something that I'd really thought about. But after the 400, I knew that I did not want to ruin the rest of my week for getting too excited. I was like, well, I want to like contain it so that I can experience this again. So I was just pretty much thinking the whole time that I had the 200 that night. Like I really tried to enjoy it, but like not really. Like it's really hard to do, and it's something you have to work on. But then when I was on the top of the podium in the 200, I didn't have any race that night. And I think like when you let your mind relax that tiny little bit, like just the slightest amount, emotions just come out. And even like when you let your mind relax that little bit after the 200 final, when I went back to my room that afternoon, it's like I'd been hit by a bus. Like I honestly just felt like absolute shit, because it's like your mind relaxes and then your body just relaxes. So the biggest thing for me was towards the end of the week having to really keep myself mentally on my toes for the 800, because after the week that I had, it's really tough to get up and do an 800 at the end of your program. Like after the relay in the morning, I was back in my room for an hour and a half before I had to leave again for the 800 heat. So it was just having really good recovery strategies and just keeping your mind like really relaxed, like when it needs to be, but on when it needs to be. And I definitely noticed at the end of the meet when I finished my 800 final, I walked through the mix zone and out, and I saw Dean. He was there waiting for me. And because I had finished, I literally relaxed and just like collapsed into his arms. And it was just like your whole body just knows that you're done and it just gives way. So it's just having to completely like keep everything switched on. And then as soon as you are done, just kind of letting the floodgates open, I guess.